Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fully Managed podcast by Penji, the podcast where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you in your business journey. I'm your host, Oliver, Penji's partnership advisor, and I'm joined here with a very special guest, Hank Smith from Smith Gifford. Thank you so much for joining me today, Hank.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
I appreciate that. So, you said fun, and I'm going to start here with a mini game because I
Oh
love
no.
to do that. So, before we dive into Smith Gifford, we're going to warm up. This game, I like to call it Pitch Me This. You'll have 30 seconds to sell me this business idea. I'm going to give you a prompt, and well, you'll try to sell it to me. Okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm not normally sales, but let's try our best.
Okay. So I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in every guest that I have here. So the prompt for today is an office building where you get a new office spot every week. Go.
So what we have here is a return to office solution. People like familiarity, but people also like change. People don't want to be in bad spaces, negative energy in the area, and they also want to see different sights when they're sitting at their desk. So what better way than to introduce a company that does that for you? You're not booking different meeting rooms, you're not booking separate offsites. It's all managed. Everyone's switching locations every week. And what that does is it introduces employees to different people, different environments, different settings, but also allows for that need of change we have. When we're going back to the office, we see people get tired of the same routine, but also
Yeah,
people feel like they're stuck in a corner at work and they had a better setup at home. So, what better way than to mix it up for them?
that sounds good. I'm actually sold because I've been part of the return to office plan that many business had,
Mhm.
and yeah, that actually sounds pretty interesting. One day I'm on the first floor, the other day I'm on the roof. Who knows?
I worked somewhere
But
that had a different. I think every day you went in, you had to pick your own seat, and it just
every day.
became, the couple guys going to the exact same spot, but
Yeah.
then everyone was getting there earlier and earlier and earlier to get the better seat, and it was chaos. I mean, that was unorganized chaos. I think if you have organized chaos, it's a little different.
Yeah, this prompt actually reminds me of one that I had a couple of weeks ago, where it was a restaurant that changed menu every 10 minutes. So that's actually a crazy one. That's
That's
actually one of the crazy ones that we had
That
before.
I can't imagine. I mean, I could see it, every day changing, but every 10 minutes is funny. It's like, "Oh, I really like to order." "Well, can you come back in a minute?" And they're like, "It's gonna be a different menu." Yeah, there's this new urgency.
One of
That's
my
funny.
guests gave me the situation that, okay, so I'm there with my friends. I go to the bathroom, and when I return, the thing that I want is not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it was
exactly.
really fun.
That's funny.
So we got the creative juices flowing, and I think you're ready to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your story
Mhm.
with Smith Gifford.
Yeah, where do you wanna start?
I would like to start with first you can tell us about Smith Gifford, who are you
Mhm.
guys, and then you can tell us a little bit about how you got there and a little bit about yourself too.
Yeah, so Smith Gifford's a 24-year-old creative ad agency right outside of DC in a small city called Falls Church, Virginia. They were founded as kind of an offshoot of the bigger agencies, and um, what they specialize in from day one is finding clients, finding services, finding brands that need a bigger voice and a different way
Yep.
to think about marketing. So they've been through the ringer before. Maybe they've had a lot of help from in-house people or freelancers or whatever, but they don't know how to elevate beyond a certain point. They're kind of stuck by the market. They're limited by the glass ceiling in a way. And what
Yep.
Smith Gifford since 2001, 2002 has always been about is helping them find a reason to exist to a consumer, to their audience, and what's resonating with their needs and wants, that ties together with what the business is actually trying to do, sell, or create. And it's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of telling stories, but it's also asking the why. What do people need to know? Do they care? Can we make them care? Um, and part of that comes with finding clients that want that, right? If they want the safe approach, for sure we can help you out, but there's better solutions. Maybe you need in-house marketers, maybe you need go to freelance network to work with. Do you want kind of a more out there approach? It's kind of the same thing, but we're going to dial it up a little bit. Or do you want a new way of talking to your audience? Do you want a new way of presenting who you are to different people, or to people who have had past experiences with you? I think that's where we really excel, and finding places that want to tell different stories, that want to expand in different ways, um, and kind of break away from the same old, this kind of works, this kind of doesn't, but we kind of have to because the competitors are doing it. Um, so yeah, that's where we come in. Where I mix into the story is I worked here 12 years ago,
What?
um, as a brand planner. Then I got offered a job and moved to Germany for 10 years, and then moved back to the United States to be the director of strategy here. So kind of seeing them evolve, but also a lot of familiar faces. Um, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That's actually crazy. I haven't heard many stories of people just leaving a company and coming back a decade later. It's usually only 3 to 4 years. So
Yeah.
given this huge time gap, is there anything that's like that was very different from when you returned?
Yeah, I mean, I left right at the birth of social media advertising, so actually being able to set like a performance campaign to it. And with that, the way clients and the way advertising's evolved in the last 10 years, especially in a different country, is dramatically different. I almost don't recognize it, right? Before we were talking about media buys, getting broadcast, getting radio, getting billboards,
Yeah.
magazine prints. Now, pretty much now it's primarily digital, but it's so hyper measured that as a creative agency, you almost have to be in the analytics game now. You have to have defined KPIs. You can't always rely on the client or vendors to give you that data, right? This is a problem worldwide. So just how we're approaching work now is a lot more analytically driven. You've got your gut, which is telling you this is cool, this is a nice way to think about it, but can that be measured? And I think finding harmony in those two things is probably what every agency on the planet's going through right now.
Yeah, I think the marketing world is always trending towards efficiency. And just recently, if I can call it recently, we had this AI boom that that, in my opinion, has impacted the marketing world more than any of the others because everywhere I see, every agency I talk to, every agency that I check out on LinkedIn always has some AI capabilities or some AI
Right.
add-on to them. What about Smith Gifford? Do you guys have something like that?
We've kind of something like that. I think the way I've treated AI is it's more of a tool than a
Yep.
crutch. And I was reading an interesting article, I don't even remember where, but saying that there's a certain type of person now that puts everything they do and say through AI, through ChatGPT, through, an image rendering software or whatever, immediately goes to render an image versus looking at stock, looking at set photography, whatever. And it's interesting because it's being used as almost spell check advanced, right? To check grammar, to check coherency, what all that stuff. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think a lot of marketing and I think a lot of advertising is tone, it's emotion, it's connecting, one and one, but not necessarily spelling out that that equals two. What AI does, huge proponent of it, love it, depending on where. I don't need it on Google yet. It asks me every time. But AI strips some of that down and remove some extra language or tonal words that can shift the way an ad's perceived, way a strategy is perceived. And it doesn't know, right? Because you ask it to make it simpler or to
Yeah.
clarify it. I think one of the things we're having with Smith Gifford is we use a lot of AI tools, especially in idea generation or storyboarding. But it's the second you rely too much on it that it just kind of becomes all the same crap that everyone is doing. And I think where we'll see AI revolutionize the industry isn't in content creation. I think people, reading through Instagram comments and YouTube comments, which is nuts, audiences are aware that they're being passed AI gen content, right?
Yeah.
People see it, people know the cadence it speaks in it, people know the color choices they use, and also the rendering powers that it has for images and videos. Um, so I think how we use it is gonna have to evolve, but for Smith Gifford, I'm seeing it come up with some interesting ways to poke holes in strategies, ways to poke holes in campaigns that we weren't thinking about. It can bring in a lot of context with minimal effort, right? You're not cross-referencing 1,000 articles if you're just plugging the links into ChatGPT. Um, and I also think just in new ways of human thinking isn't there yet, right? So for us, building a website for someone, um, standard run-of-the-mill work, you're now thinking, well, how's this going to be scanned by LLMs? How does ChatGPT, you know, view this work in what order? So that's kind of how more we're thinking is like, what is AI going to actually do versus what can we integrate with? Long answer to a short question.
No, that's actually one of the perfect answers. I always ask this about AI in the marketing world, given me being someone that's been um, working with marketing agencies for about, let's say, 7 years now. So I was there when there was no ChatGPT, and
Mhm.
I was there when it was started being adopted, and now I'm here where it's everywhere. Like you said, it's
Right.
on Google, it's on it's on even Facebook, WhatsApp, it's
Mhm.
everywhere. It's crazy to know how something like this uh, has spread around very fast. So speaking of more recent times with AI. You've been with Smith Gifford for about a year now. Um, have you seen the agency evolve since then? Any changes that you'd like to highlight?
I think the biggest changes Smith Gifford's gone through in the last year is finding our voice again. I think, especially during COVID, a lot of companies, including the one I previously was working at, struggled a lot to figure out, okay, well, we're a local agency, we're a local brand service, whatever. Since COVID, it's nationwide everything almost, right? You can get coworkers from all over the country, you can get clients from all over the country because we're just doing a Zoom call. I think Smith Gifford has a little bit reinvented itself in the last year of how we're approaching things and how we're talking to clients, but also how we're perceiving new work and adapting to that. So we're been fortunate enough to grow the business with just referrals and past clients and just a revolving network of clients. And now with me here again, I'm really working on like the cold outreach and talking to brands and companies and services that have never used an agency before, but are struggling. They're struggling to find their voice in the market. They're struggling to create content that matters. Um, and I think that's the biggest changes I've seen is just how we're not viewing ourselves, but how others are viewing us and what the agency can do better, what services we can offer that are more comprehensive to clients. And also, me moving from Germany, we still have a lot of good connections over there. So our turnaround time has very much taken advantage of the time zone differences. So yeah, the work has increased. It's gotten a lot better and yeah, loving it.
That's great to hear. Given that you talked about your turnaround and your works, can you walk us through the core services that Smith Gifford gives?
Yeah, we just redid the 4 columns, so let me make sure I don't misspeak for you. Um, let me see what we have. So, yeah, I guess with that, like, every agency, we had a capabilities deck, we had a new, business deck with all the case studies and stuff. And we basically have narrowed it down into strategy, branding, design, campaign work, and insights and optimization. So, within that, a lot of services fall in, obviously. But the way we're
Yep.
thinking about it is the only way we can get better and the only way your product can be perceived better in the market is to constantly have a feedback loop, right? We're always talking to consumers, we're looking at data, and we're adapting the creative to do better all around. It's not a set it and forget it. It's not a, oh, well, we shot the ad and we're just going to run it for months and hope it works eventually. It's like, hey,
Yep.
let's learn from this. Let's learn how the market's perceiving it, but also how audiences on TikTok are perceiving your content versus someone watching live sports is dramatically different. The way the content should be created is dramatically different, right? Because in live sports, the TV's just on. TikTok, your thumb is your enemy, right? You just keep swiping. So how do you grab attention? How do you tell a story in 3 seconds? Um, so yeah, that's where we're at. So what that falls into is commercials, radio, print, digital, web development, app services. We even do like creative concepting for TV shows. It's the writer's room the way it used to be, but it's also not saying no to cool products or cool brands just because it's not in our wheelhouse normally. It's a lot of fun to kind of bounce off cool people doing cool things that are passionate about what they do.
Uh, that's a that's a very broad range of services. Like that's a lot.
Well,
You guys can do
it
everything.
kind of comes down to like it's it's strategic driven creative. Um, so what you want done for your product or service, why do you want it, and what it should accomplish should all impact each other between strategy and design. And that's broad enough, but it kind of fills a gap because there's a lot of people that are just like put up ads, don't care what they do, make a new website, just make it nicer. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, there needs to be a reason for this, right? Like if the website looks like shit, but it works, just leave it.
it
It's
works.
like, yeah, it just works. Well, if you don't have a business reason tied to it, it's better for you. I mean, a lot of people are like, yeah, great, pay us and we'll change it. But it's also like that performance repercussion is there for the agency or the designer or the developer to say, hey, this website's not optimized or these ads suck. CPMs are way too high or there's no conversion. It's like that has to be accountable by every person in the procedure, right? For this to get better and also not just to burn client money.
Yeah, just like you said, analytics plays a crucial part in the marketing world now.
Hmm.
Speaking of your services and how your agency has its own philosophy, I there's this question that I always like to ask to many of the advertising or marketing agencies that I have here in the show. What would you say is your flavor of marketing? What will you say defines Smith Gifford's approach to your work?
I wasn't here for this, but I've been told a client once told the Smith Gifford creative team and the account team that our ideas are from another planet. So I think our flavor, I hate to say like out of this world or wacky because it's not. It's grounded in strategy and reality. Um, but our flavor would be something different, right? I would say what the marketing and advertising world is missing now is content that people actually want to watch, people that actually give a shit about. And by giving a shit, I mean when the ad's over, you don't go, was that Budweiser or was that Coors? Was that Volkswagen or was that Honda? They don't give a shit. They're just there for the entertainment value. I think
Yeah,
tying entertainment, right? Because if people don't like what they're seeing, they're not going to be forced to watch your ad, and they're not going to be forced to read your print ad or your display ad or click it. I think it's tying entertainment in a way to brand narrative, and how you tie those two together kind of comes down to the fundamentals of how TV even started, right? Is creating content that people want to watch. If there's a sales pitch integrated with it, with the old game shows in the 50s and 60s, yes. Talk shows still do it now too. We're sponsored. This band is going to be on. We're promoting this new movie. It's like that's kind of missing a little bit. So what we're doing at Smith Gifford is really figuring out that why you should give a shit, why you, and why now. I think talking about with healthcare, talking about with financial services, talking about with nonprofits, it's like there's a little bit of an urgency always, right? It's not just, hey, next time you're in Target, look for us on the shelf. Hey, next time you're at the grocery store. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of self-reflection. It's a way of thinking about your future, thinking about your health, thinking about the planet around you. That story has been told so poorly over the last 100 years of like guilt trips or stories that kind of go nowhere, don't resonate back. I think the role of any marketer is to make people who already inherently care have a rational approach to why they care. So for Smith Gifford, when we say out of this world, not from another planet, um, it's kind of tapping into that and tapping into like why we as humans are moved to do anything, why we're moved to put a product in our cart, while we're moved to call for a health screening. There's always a story behind it, right? Our brains don't
Yeah.
just ping off and go, buy milk. It's like, oh, I gotta buy milk for my coffee. I gotta buy milk to bake a cake. Oh, I love cake. Cake's awesome. Like you have this internal dialogue. How do you tap into that as a marketer? And I think that's what I've always been impressed with Smith Gifford's storytelling.
That's one of the most interesting answers that I heard in a while.
What do you
Finding the
usually get? Yeah.
I usually get on the flavors. Yeah, we love doing SEO, or we love doing websites, or we love doing graphic design and things like that. But going deeper with your answer, Hank. Yes, I love knowing the reason why things are the way that they are, or why things are why I'm doing this,
Hmm.
why I am changing this, why I'm designing this. It's always good to know that there's a
Hmm.
purpose behind every action, and it's great to hear that Smith Gifford um, puts that as a priority. Finding a reason why we do this work, why we suggest changing some things. Like you
Hmm.
said, if it's not broken, don't change it. But if it is, I'll give you a reason why.
Yeah. I think and you see it a lot, right? Like I don't want to call out this brand, but there's a brand I keep getting targeted with that it's a product. You can tell that their product is AI rendered. I wouldn't say fully generated, but it's like on store shelves. It's in, a grocery store. It's at a farmer's market. And I was thinking, well, if your own marketing team won't even buy your product to take a picture of it, why should I? And what they're thinking though is I created a ton of content for no money. I did a lot of great photography for no money, and I put it behind an ad for money, right? And those bad ads, because I'm reading the comments, everyone sees that it's AI. They're like, what the hell is this? Those bad ads cost you more money than if you had just gotten a photographer. If you had just gotten, your own set,
Yeah.
photography done even on your iPhone. And that brings it down to why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Are you here to sell more products? Are you here to create brand loyalty for your product? Because loyalty is what's going to create repeat purchases. No one wants to be the AI brand, of coffee in this sense. But show why you're different. Show why people should care. If people already drink coffee, they probably have a brand they already like. Convince me why yours is better, not an AI. And I think that's what an agency like Smith Gifford can help you not only see, but feel that. And, feel what people are doing, feel how people perceive you in the market, and see how your marketing can affect them directly versus just, oh, if you want more views on your page, just pay more. You know, that's not gonna cut it. We're humans. We love stories. Give me a story that I care about. Um, Tell me a story of why not your competitor? Because they're telling me why them, but you're not. But you're still spending, I would guess, tens of thousands of dollars on Instagram ads of AI generated crap. So, what differentiates you? I think it's tough for a lot of clients that have a working solution and they have a setup that's worked and it's driving sales, it's driving customer signups, it's driving newsletter subscriptions, whatever. It's hard for them to say, what can I do better? What can I do to just break that up 10%? And I've been in that position, in-house too, of saying like, oh yeah, we'll just, come up with a new newsletter design or reinvent the homepage. It's like, it's not enough sometimes. So yeah, what I love about Smith Gifford is it's the stories that people actually care about. I think it's a fun business to be in.
It is. I'm also been part of marketing world for a couple of years now. And going back a bit to your story about this AI generated ad of, let's say,
Mhm,
coffee, I had a
mhm,
similar experience too. On TikTok, I had an AI generated video ad
mhm.
of a delivery system. It was, food delivery system that's local to here. And if first of all, it looked ugly. It looked
Sure,
AI generated, and they used
sure.
people, like
Right.
real people, let's say, and you could see how it morphed. It had some kind of uncanny valley.
Yep.
And besides just looking weird, it like my interest dropped immediately as soon as
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed the weird shapes and everything. And this is a business that has been around for a couple of years now in here, and it really bummed me. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to use them anymore because as soon as I kept scrolling, I saw their competition, and they use some local story about a local business and how they help them, and they use real people. And I realized, okay, I studied marketing. I'm a marketing graduate. I am not immune to ads because this story touched me. This story is
Sure.
something that's real to me,
Mhm.
and comparing it to AI is it's just on another level, the
The
human
it
one.
and I think that's the struggle people are having, right? Is like, well, to get a production, I'm gonna need 50, 60,000 bucks. I'm gonna need XYZ. I'll just shoot it real quick, right? That was 10 years ago. Someone's like, I got an iPhone, I'm gonna go do it. Now it's like, oh, I can just do it in AI. No one will even care. It's like
No,
there
people
is
don't care.
people care. There's a percentage of people that don't care, but I think online a struggle that like our generations had is what's authentic and real on the internet. It could potentially be nothing. It could potentially be a scam. It could potentially be a used product passed off as new. And there's an old Gary Larson Far Side comic that said, on the internet, no one knows you're a dog. And
Yeah,
it's like,
I seen that one.
we could be, right? But when you're selling a product or service, or even when companies have testimonials and they have the stock photo of the guy that's like conveniently lit, who's like, I love this herpes
Or
removal
like
cream or
this.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. And um what you're looking for as a human is falsity, right? You're looking for someone that doesn't fit in. And when you're reading testimonials that are perfectly manicured and quoted by someone that probably isn't real, um, it throws you off of the product, right? When you see
Yeah,
one thing on Amazon with 100,000 reviews and its competitors got 400, you're like, 100,000 seems a little wacky here. I think AI is just that to the max, right? Because it unlocks the gates for anyone to create content, which is great. But same as your iPhone, same as a camcorder, same as an 8 millimeter film. Just because you can doesn't mean it's good, and just because you think it's good doesn't mean audiences think it's good. And
yeah.
I think what's tricky is we're gonna just see more and more of this, right? Like, I've been on productions in my history of work for taking pictures of scarves, like winter scarves, and the elaborateness of the shoot was next level. I've done food commercials, I've done car, but this scarf and arranging the scarf and having the light hit so that the fabric and the little bristles show better. And then it's like, ah, fuck it, I can just render in AI. You're gonna miss all that tone.
Yeah,
But also, if you're already on the internet believing everything's fake or a scam, and now you see an AI product, you see it all the time on Amazon where it's just like crappily photoshopped on. But that's almost more excusable because at least they use the real product. I don't know. I'm excited by AI, but I also think it's just like I'm not like, oh, this is Terminator. They're gonna, I gotta get on AI's good side. I'm like, we still as humans look for what we like and what we don't, what's visually appealing, what's not, what looks kind of sketchy, what doesn't. It's the same thing. It's just, yeah, if I get another AI video sent to me as friends that think it's like real news, they found the Titanic part 2. You're like, no, dude, come on, man. Just fucking Google it, like just Google
it
and see
happened
if
to
this is
me.
real. Yeah. What was yours?
They found a second, like the moon had a moon, and they sent me a
Mm.
video that they were recording outside. That like, why?
And you're like, what? That doesn't seem real. But you're like, oh, I'm watching it. You know? Yeah,
It
that's
kind of
funny.
looks real. Yeah,
Well, that's
but
what's funny is like even seeing this completely irrelevant, but it's like all the people throughout histories that see UFOs, and it's like the worst iPhone footage ever.
yeah,
And you're like, so you're telling me we got Ring cameras everywhere, we have security tapes everywhere. Everyone has an iPhone or Google Pixel pretty much at this point, and we still don't have UFO footage, even AI rendered. You're like, come on, guys! Like AI looks so much nicer. Yeah, yeah.
it's just so crazy to me because I watched those kind of videos, UFO videos
Hmm.
when I was a kid, and then when I grew up, I was like, okay, maybe now it's been around 20 years now, so we have
There's got to
cameras,
be
HD
something.
cameras. Yeah, at least a 10 second clip, nothing.
What I never even see, like, fake. I guess because it looks so bad, but when you're like, "Okay, where's the, AI UFO hoax that the government's gonna have to deny?" And there's just none, and I'm like, "Come on, man. We're really doing, like, an iPhone filming the screen of a," like, it's just like, AI should be used for good. Let's have everyone believe aliens are invading. That's a lot funnier than trying to sell me a bag of coffee. So,
That's Yeah, for sure. I hope AI continues to be regulated and hopefully it's more used as a tool, like you say, in the future. And speaking of
mhm.
the future, this is a question that I always love to ask. Um, as my last question is, what's next for Smith Gifford? You have any new services, new goals on your horizon?
What's next? So we're redoing our website right now, making it a little bit more friendly and expl no. Make it more descriptive. I think that's better. And actually, like, explaining what we've done for clients and case studies, and also our methodology of who we like to work with, who likes to work with
Yep.
us. Um, we're in the process of hiring, a new senior team of art director and copywriter. They're really cool. Love their ideas, love their enthusiasm, but that brings in a new perspective in the agency, right? Like what I like working on, what our account team likes working on, what our design and creative team like working on are all different. So let's find those clients that resonate, that you inherently have a passion about. So part of my job is finding that and actually like bridging the gap a little bit between um I would say like clients, prospective clients that maybe need our services or want our services, but don't know where to start, or they don't want to put out an RFP and get 1,000 replies, out of nowhere. But they also, see the limitations in their own work and what could be better, and just want someone that's actually a part of the team and not just trying to sell them stuff. So that's really the future. And thinking about it, year by year. So nothing, no grand 5-year, 10-year plan. Just stay in business. I think that's the number one goal.
That I think that's good enough. To,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest,
yeah.
that's good
I
enough.
don't know. Just kind of showing up tomorrow. That seems like the plan.
Taking it just like
Yeah.
that Rocky quote. I think it's one step at a time, one punch at a time. I think it was one day
Hmm.
at a time. Okay,
Hmm.
I butchered that quote, but
No, you're good.
something like
I
that.
I seen the movie one time, maybe 20 years ago. So every time I like remember those pinnacle moments, but I'm like, you could have told me anything, and I've been
And
like,
you will believe it.
maybe, maybe he said, I don't know. So,
Maybe it's an AI
yeah.
quote. Who knows? Who
Man,
knows?
just wait. If AI, because I love that like AI has endless human knowledge, right? But sometimes when you ask it things and you're wrong as a human. You say, "Hey, can you find sources for this thing?" It'll just make up shit, right? We know this. Wait until they can make up their own sources and publish their own sources. That is going to
Oh
be
God.
chaos. Chaos of all the AI stuff people have created, passing that off as almost real, and then it quoting itself. I think that's gonna be a full circle moment.
I hope this
Yeah.
circle is a bubble that pops.
Well, seeing
Well,
what happened with social media, I mean, it kind of popped, right?
crossing our
People,
fingers. Crossing our
yeah,
fingers.
yeah.
Well, Hank, with that vision of the future for Smith Gifford and for the AI in the marketing world, we'll wrap up today's conversation.
Cool.
Thank you so much for sharing your
Thanks,
story.
man.
And
Yeah,
this
super
was
fun.
one of my favorites
Oh,
podcasts
you're
yet.
just saying that.
No, I'm actually saying it for real. I like the topics that we went on were really engaging, and I something that I really love to talk about with someone because not many people share my thoughts on AI.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, if you like to learn more about Smith Gifford and see their creative approach that we highlighted here, you can check out the links in the description. And as always, thank you all for tuning in. And Hank, thank you once again for your time.
Thanks, Oliver. Yeah, this
Uh,
was a lot of fun.
Goodbye.
See ya.